2008 Ford Escape Hybrid that lived a previous life working in photo radar. After using it for years car camping, Tom's car died right outside of Parker. Rather than tow it, Tom donated the car to Border Radio. If you'd like to donate your vehicle, running or not, visit borderradioaz.org/cars.
What's up, Yuma? I'm Johnny.
And I'm Ronnie.
And on today's program, we are going to be joined first by Angela and Brian from the Transfer Center. It's not station, it's center right here at AWC. They got an event coming up in a week or so. So we're going to talk to them about that, as well as our very own Victor Calderón. There we go. I think I got it. Maybe. I don't know. There's a little accent thing on there. So hopefully I got it. We'll talk to him. So stay with us for What's Up Yuma Radio, beginning right now on KOFA 94.7 FM.
And streaming online at borderradioaz.org and on the KOFA app. And you can stream our show right now on the Border Radio Facebook page and KAWC YouTube page. And email us at whatsupyumaradio@gmail.com.
What's Up Yuma with Johnny Porter is sponsored by Yuma and Imperial Valley Wealth Management, offering solutions for those who value financial planning. YIVWM.com.
Chili from Philly. Nick Papa Giorgio from Yuma.
What's up, Yuma? Welcome to another episode of the What's Up Yuma radio show. I'm Johnny.
And I'm Ronnie.
And on today's program, these two kind of wandered in. I think at one point they just kind of wandered in the building looking for places to put up a flyer and talk to our Lou Gum over there at KAWC. And it was a perfect fit for this radio show. So we have Angela and Brian with us from right here at AWC. Thank you guys for being with us.
Thank you so much for having us this morning.
So for those that don't know, could you both take a second, introduce yourself, and let us know what you do here at AWC at the Transfer Center?
Yes, my name is Angela Mesaga, and I've been here at the Arizona Western College Transfer Center for 9 years, and I am the Transfer Services and Program Coordinator. So I help students in navigating the transfer process.
Okay, and Brian?
Hi, my name is Brian. I'm a student here at AWC. I just started here about a year ago. Originally, I was a radiology student, but now I'm doing accounting. Here at the Transfer Center, I am a student worker, so I assist students at the front desk if they have any questions about the evaluations process, transcripts, or even just meeting with one of our university partners. We try our best to pair them with the best experience they can have here.
So were you a transfer student or going to be a transfer student? Because I know we were talking off air, it's like in and out.
That is correct.
So whether if you're transferring in or transferring to ASU, U of A, something like that, you help with both, right? So is that in your past or going to be in your present?
Absolutely. Actually, both. So previously, I went to a different university back when I originally graduated from high school. I'm 32 years old, so I got a little bit of experience under my belt. Afterwards, I also studied at a community college. So all of those previous credits that I earned transfer over to AWC using our evaluations process, where we find an equivalency here at AWC. And at the same time, I'm going to be transferring out hopefully in 2026 or 2027 to either GCU or another local university.
Oh,
okay.
Interesting. So why the change? Radiation to accounting, quite the jump.
Yes. So radiology here at AWC is very, very competitive. They only accept a certain limited amount of students. I think at one point, I think the lowest was like maybe 12 or 15 students. So it's very, very competitive. So I thought, while I'm waiting for the next application period, I thought I'm not going to waste my time. I'm going to go ahead and continue studying in something that I'm passionate about, I'm interested in, which is accounting as well.
Wow.
Okay, so you are always interested in that as well? Like that was like...
Well, me personally, I've always been kind of a nerd. I'm a math person. I like dealing with numbers. I like looking and analyzing things. And when I see that there's a problem or something just doesn't fit, I really like to kind of investigate and kind of solve like a little puzzle.
You're a troubleshooter.
Yes.
Me too. I either like fix it or I break it.
Yes, 100%.
It's one or the other.
Yes.
So at your previous colleges that you went to, how'd you hear about AWC?
So I honestly didn't know much about Yuma or AWC. My extended family all lives in Mexicali, which is only about an hour away from here. And I do have family who live here as well. So we went to go visit them, and we grew to kind of enjoy the area. And then once I got here, it's like, well, I want to also improve, my life and the life of my families. So I thought, why not go back to school? And I learned a lot about AWC and some of the fantastic opportunities that they offer here just in Yuma.
So you saw those opportunities and you wanted to take part in them.
Absolutely, yes.
Betterment of your family. And how about you, Angela? How did you end up in Yuma? Or are you originally from here?
I've been here all my life.
All your life? Oh,
never
that's
moved.
So
Never
moved. So
Yeah.
originally from Mexico, and then
Okay.
was naturalized. So I've been here since kindergarten in San Luis,
Oh.
Arizona, and then I didn't move very far to Somerton, and then to Yuma.
You like
Nice.
inched your way in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so back to Somerton, and then this is, I've worked in San Luis, Arizona,
Mhm.
as an educator.
Oh,
in
okay. What'd you do there?
Somerton.
What?
I was at Somerton. I was an elementary teacher, and then I was a high school teacher at an alternative high school, and then I transitioned to higher education. So
Mhm.
I've always been passionate about education, and I've always been passionate about staying in here in this community because I just love the small atmosphere. I love that the traffic's not crazy, and I just
Yeah.
love.
It's
the whole
getting
community.
crazier right now, though. It's starting to tick up a little bit. I noticed
All the
today.
RVs are back.
Yeah,
They're coming.
there's a few, and yeah, it's kind of ticking up, but yeah, obviously not as bad as Phoenix,
No.
LA, San Diego, stuff like that. No.
Do you
And-
have a favorite grade that you taught?
I really enjoyed second grade.
Oh,
It was just
everybody
a little
says that. We
But
just had a
seriously,
teacher
yeah.
on. She was like,
Definitely.
second grade's the best. My son's in second grade right now.
Yeah,
And he's
everybody
like a
says
little
that.
sponge.
Yeah,
And I
He's
think-
willing to learn.
I think
willing to learn. Their attitudes, they're just like
Yeah.
all love and joy, and they're
Aw.
they're
and they love you,
adorable.
the teacher.
Yes,
They're
they
like,
still
they're
write
so
notes to you and take chocolates, and they're just so
thankful for the
yes,
help.
They're just
Mhm.
appreciative, and it's just a beautiful age. But I think it's at any age
Mhm.
is. I mean, every age has its growth, and
Mhm.
that's what I found. Like here at at the high school, I saw that growth within students. They're maturing, they're
Mhm.
learning about what they want to do in their future. They have their struggles, and their
Yeah.
their perseverance that they show. And then when you're here at the community college, you see that as well. Like these are young adults navigating life,
Mhm.
balancing family life, their own personal challenges, and
Yeah.
their education. And that's really something that is very admirable.
Yeah.
So I still see all of that growth within all of the
Yep.
spectrum of education.
So you said that education is important to you, obviously the local aspect, but why is education important to you? What was it? And it like always as a kid, or like you seen the growth and you're like, I want to see more of this?
I've always seen education. I always wanted to be a teacher, an elementary
okay.
teacher. So
Mhm.
I was 4 years, pretty much teacher's aide at a high school. When I did go into elementary, I did have to transition back just because of some external factors to go back to the high school. But
Mhm.
to me, I really always enjoyed education, and I always wanted to be a teacher. It was such a beautiful career for me.
Like ever since you were little?
I was like, what do you want to be? And I would draw, what do you want to be when
Teacher.
you grow up? I would draw myself as a teacher. My stuffed animals were
I
my
was going to say they were your
students, they were your
class.
my
first- Oh,
cousins
yeah.
were forced on weekends when they had sleepovers. They were forced to be my students, and they had
Oh.
recess and homework. So
Oh my God.
I always really enjoyed it, and so it was just something that I really loved, and
Mhm.
and so to me, education is like a pathway. I know
Yeah.
it's not everybody's pathway because there's so many avenues to be successful.
Mhm.
You can have any trade, but it's still education. Like it's
Mhm.
a
Yeah.
trade is still education. You're still learning. And to
Mhm.
me, education is just learning.
Awesome.
Regardless of a certificate, regardless of a degree, regardless of an internship, but it's still education. And so it is something that I see value in because it does transform lives. It does improve quality of life. It improves even discipline. You're getting up in the morning and
Yeah.
getting ready. And so that kind of like shows you're disciplined to go to this institution, you're disciplined to go to work. And I think that's just, in life, that's what's needed. And so I feel like, to me, I really did want to improve my life. I grew up with limited income, with housing assistance, with my parents struggling financially. And so to me, it was an escape.
Absolutely.
To have more.
Well, we had a gentleman by the name of David Power on. He has a ministry called Church Mexico, and I had coffee with him recently. And he said he went down there. He kind of started a ministry doing a church thing, but he was like, "How do I get these people out of poverty? How do I get them out?" Because he wants to help, but it just seems like no matter what he does, church wise, they were still in poverty. And he said that he prayed and he said, it's education. It's education. So he started providing education and educational tools. And he said now he has like people that are becoming lawyers and doctors and all this, and they're able to lift their family out of poverty. So you saying that education from his lips, this is a pastor saying that's the key. So it definitely resonates.
Yes. And I think more than anything, like when we talk about poverty, and I know that Yuma is, that they have these ambitious goals also to increase, the completion of bachelorette degrees and increasing the demand at different workplaces and preparing the community. It is a mindset. It is a mindset of poverty is that mindset of like you're stagnant. And so when you learn something, it just takes you out of what you already just are used to. What
you're at already. Yeah.
Where you're at. And so I do feel like regardless, and I know that we want to encourage students to get degrees and we want students to get the bachelorettes to go to the university. But I know that there's so many beautiful vocations as well, that it's education regardless, even if it's, in a church where you're learning like financial literacy or some type of skill, that's still education. So I think that's the mindset just grows and it increases quality of life.
So are you saying bachelorette?
Yes.
Is that like the term? I always said bachelor.
It's a baccalaureate. I'm sorry.
Oh, wow. It's like the term.
Yes.
It's always
we
like,
say bachelors usually. I know.
Yeah.
That's a slang.
So how did you end up here at AWC then? Your journey from being an educator to now here at the Transfer Center?
I always wanted to be here at AWC. I had great role models when I was here. So I started AWC.
So you went to school here?
I did go to school here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I started here. I was KAWC High School graduate, go Kings.
Yeah,
and then I came over here and I started with my Associate of Arts, and then I transitioned into Northern Arizona University with their educational program in elementary education. And so I started here, and I was one of the people that really the advisors were amazing here. Everybody was amazing here. They had different programs. There was a lot of support. And I really loved that. And I had one advisor in particular, Marco Diaz. He's still here at AWC. And when he barely got his position, he was so passionate about his job. And I admired that he just spoke so highly of being able to help students. He was coordinating field trips. My friends were going to the field trips to the universities.
Oh, cool.
With him. And so I met him. He helped me with advising. And when he talked about his position as an advisor, I thought that is such a cool, that's a cool
job. It's a cool job.
It is something that I look forward to, even though I was studying to be a teacher. And so that
stuck with you. It stuck with you.
It did. It was just a beautiful, I think, job to help people, to be like the best that you can be, to assist, because when you're young, you're lost. Being first generation, my parents never went to college. They didn't even finish high school. So it was more like having that guidance, somebody I could relate to, somebody that could guide me and be a role model. And so he was, that inspiration. And then I did continue with my education, and I pursued higher education for about 4 years. I applied to AWC relentlessly for 4 years. Any position I could apply.
Oh, really?
To.
Any position?
Any lower,
oh, wow.
I had already, had my bachelor's, and then I did get my master's through a scholarship from the high school I was working at in psychology. So I was building myself up, but it was difficult to have, all this time and apply, but I was overqualified for a lot of the administrative part-time positions. So
you're like, you got a master's. So we don't want you to be a janitor.
Omitted all of the other items, but I was always, you're not overqualified. So I was able to get this opportunity, and I loved the vision for it, for transfer services.
Is it like a type of advisor then?
It is a resource, a support. So I am not an academic advisor. I help students, and I work closely with academic advisors.
So you work with them.
I work with them to create a plan for students. So I help them with learning about timelines, connecting them to the resources, coordinating events. I'm more like a sounding board. Like, this is your plan. Okay, let's talk about when you should start the process of applying for scholarships, applying for the admission application, getting connected with these specific representatives. We're very blessed that in this community college, we have the 3 in-state universities. We do have them here. They're locals. So we do have, ASU local, we do have NAU, and then University of Arizona. So that really, that partnership that we have is really beneficial for students. And so I'm a reference.
Yeah. So like they come up with like, why I want to do this. This is where the direction I'm headed. And you could be like, actually, NAU offers this over here. And this is how we can get the ball rolling to get you over.
And that's so important, because just thinking about all of that makes me stressed. Like, I'm like, okay,
you stressed Ronnie out.
I don't even know where to start. I'd be like, this is what I wanted
gummy.
to no. But like, I wouldn't even know where to begin. So that's why we need people like you to say, okay, got it. Here's your timeline. Here's who you talk to. Here's the essay you write or whatever.
Yes.
And you hold my hand.
Yes. And there's so many services here at AWC. I mean, I'm going to we're a small community within a small community, right? Because AWC, we work together with all of the departments, academic advising. We have the career services. There's the student success center. Like if students are struggling academically, you have to keep that GPA up, go to the writing center. Or if students are not sure what careers they want, I can help them with the plan and kind of give them awareness, but they have to navigate career services to do their own like self-assessments to find out what kind of like they're more inclined for based on their interests. So it's like we all work together and we are a resource for each other to support students. And sometimes, I'm not an expert in career services, so I will refer them to that area. And we work closely again with academic advisors, referring them to the right areas. But I'm like a sounding board of, okay, these are my struggles. These are my questions. And so I guide them because like you said, Ronnie, it's something that's very nerve-wracking, right?
Daunting.
Yeah.
Like so much paperwork, so much applications. Yes. Where do you even begin?
And so a lot of students, we do let them know, start early. Because
a year ahead of schedule.
If you're going to the main campus, you do want to plan because you're not going to take your pillow and blanket and land on somebody's couch. You have to know where you're going to stay on campus, off campus.
There's a lot to it. There's definitely. Yeah.
We need you. Don't ever leave.
Yeah, don't leave and don't.
You either, Brian. I want to hear more from you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, don't leave right now because we are going to take a break. So don't go anywhere. We're going to take a break and we're going to talk more about this and the National Transfer Student Week 2025 that's coming up. We're going to do that and more right after this. You're listening to What's Up Yuma Radio right here on 94.7 KOFA Border Radio.
What's Up Yuma is sponsored by Yuma and Imperial Valley Wealth Management, offering retirement planning, investment consulting, and money management aligned with the goals of each client. Appointments and information are at yivwm.com. Investment advisory services offered through CWM LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.
I'm Maria Hinojosa. Next time on Latino USA, a conversation about migration and queerness with Afro-Dominican author Alejandro Heredia.
I think when we create negative political narrative or positive political narratives, we put people into boxes. And my job as a novelist is to take my people out of boxes.
That's next time on Latino USA.
Latino USA airs on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. on KOFA Border Radio 94.7 FM. The weather forecast for Yuma calls for an increasingly cloudy day with a high near 94 degrees, a 20% chance of showers during the day, a 50% chance during the late evening, winds out of the east at 5 miles per hour, and a low of 80 degrees. Financial educators bust 3 common myths about credit card debt in a top NPR news story. They explain why these negative assumptions can hold us back from making smart money decisions. More details at KAWC.org/NPR-news.
Improve Improv, a nonprofit focused on boosting brain health, is now open in Yuma. The organization provides classes consisting of exercises and games which require no previous experience and promote the yes and mindset. More information, including sessions specifically for seniors, is at Just for Fun Improv ME.
What's up, Yuma? Welcome back to What's Up, Yuma Radio. We are here talking to Angela and Brian, everything at the Transfer Center here at AWC. And we do have an event coming up, so we're definitely going to get to that. But when somebody comes here to AWC, maybe this is their first taste of higher education. Do they get familiarized with your department right away, or how does that work?
Usually students start off with, after their admissions, they start off with academic advising.
Okay.
They choose their degree or certificate, and then they meet with the academic advisors to help them with their planning.
Gotcha. And then if the advisor says, okay, it sounds like you have higher goals, do they help make that connection?
They also help, they make that connection, and advisors also help with transfer planning and pathways. But when they need like additional support or they're navigating what options is best for them, they refer them as well to our department, because we do offer just all around services as far as resources relevant to transferring. And so that's how we work together, and that collaboration comes into place. So definitely they connect first with academic advising, and then with us, and with all of the other extensive
then
services.
The rest of the team. And so, Brian, did you take part in that? Did you go visit Angela when you first started over here, or that wasn't the case?
So me personally, I'm kind of I'm very problem solver. So I will try to solve everything by myself.
By yourself, okay.
And that's a great resource about the Transfer Center, is that you don't have to do everything by yourself. You know, I started things a little bit later in life, and that's perfectly fine. Anybody can come by the Transfer Center, whether you're adult, you've already had education history, or you're fresh out of high school. The really important thing for me is just like, it's important that people have the knowledge about the Transfer Center, but the people who actually work there, they're compassionate, they understand, and they're actually enthusiastic about wanting your success. And after I heard about this, I'm like, wow, I should have just come here in the first place.
Oh, wow.
I should have just come straight here and like solved
figured it out on my own.
Absolutely, yeah, because like I did figure it out on my own.
Yeah.
But sometimes it can take a little bit longer. You know, you're trying to solve things that, you know, maybe you don't have all the answers to. And, you know, with Angela's help, with everybody who works with advising the Transfer Center, they have a lot of knowledge, and they're there for the students.
So you're obviously, you said you're a student, so that's a program you guys offer. What's that like? Did you go in and volunteer? Like, hey, I like to solve problems, so I'm your guy. How'd that happen?
Well, I actually got this employment through AWC through the student worker program.
Oh, nice.
So through financial aid, I'm able to go ahead and work with something that's at least a little bit related to my degree. You know, I am an accountant. I am dealing with data entry. We get a lot of transcripts. We get a lot of incoming students. So, you know, part of it is, you know, applying these skills to my degree and my future employment, but also how can I better serve the community and the people have been so accepting of myself and all my friends and my family after being here just for so little time.
Are you still trying to go for radiology?
I am interested in radiology, but, you know, I do have family members who are accountants. So, you know, that's a skill that's going to be very important for me to pick up. And even if I don't get into accounting, I mean, accounting has plenty of opportunities through CPA, CMAs, you know, auditing, and, you know, there's a lot of opportunities.
Wow, all that stuff I don't want to do.
Oh, I'm very
I'll
excited.
go right to you.
Yes, absolutely.
So this event that's coming up, it's the 7th one, right? Is that true?
Yes, this is the 7th year that Arizona Western College has joined this national type of event.
Oh, so it's a national event.
Actually, so the National Transfer Student Week is actually it was initiated by the National Institute of the Study of Transfer Students, where they were studying many of the trends, many of the challenges that students face. I love the reason why we have Brian on board right now is because he gives that perspective of students that are coming from other institutions to AWC, and also his own journey at AWC to transfer to an institution. And so that is, it poses a lot of challenges, you know, first generation, just the situation. So it poses a lot of challenges to students. And so NIST actually started this transfer week. And so we have joined the celebration since 2019. We started, and it's a week full of awareness, of transfer awareness activities, events, just making sure we highlight students and offer as many opportunities as we can to prepare them to increase that engagement in their own transfer planning, and just to to make sure we promote it. Like it's something that's very celebrated for students, and again, offering that support. So, it's something that a lot of students don't realize. I think as sometimes even as a culture, it's until I get there, I'll worry about it. Right.
Yeah.
And that's, it works for some, I guess, but it increases a lot of stress.
Yeah.
If they can just learn about the process and the time frames, it won't be so daunting. And so that's what we really want for students, to make them aware. And so I love that customer service. The transfer center has the best customer service. We have Brian, so he's very intuitive into what students need, and offering that support for students who are lost. Like, how do I bring my credit thing?
Like, I'd be like a deer in headlights. Are you going to share your story sometime this week or whenever it is?
Yes, we do actually have like a little spotlight for transfer students during Transfer Student Week. So you'll be able to see like their pathway, what they're interested in, and a little, inspirational quote.
Oh, I love it.
We're excited.
So what's the theme?
So the theme is unlock your true potential. Only you have the key to your success. And so by attending events, by getting connected, you're really unlocking that the potential to learn about your journey and really take that into your own hands versus getting lost in the shuffle, getting lost in your own apprehension and freezing. Yes, a lot of students freeze. It's like, I don't want to start it because it's so daunting, and I will just put it off until I'm graduating, like walking the line. And it's like,
it's a little late.
Start it, because it really opportunities. There's so many opportunities that a lot of students don't realize with scholarships. If you start early, when you're going to leave, when you have to start the applications, you can start applying for scholarships that students don't claim sometimes because they feel like other students are more like they're eligible for it, and they may not be eligible. But really, there's so many opportunities that students miss when they wait till the last minute.
They miss the deadline
to start. Yes, because they miss the deadline. They create a lot of stress for themselves to start that process. And so they don't get connected to the representatives right away, or even the pathways. Students sometimes don't realize that there's pathways. There's courses that you can take very specifically that will go into your university degree programs very seamlessly. And if they are taking the wrong degree, the wrong program, the wrong classes, it will put them, behind a little bit, or they just sometimes have to finish the majority of the curriculum at the university, which is a setback, know? So we want to just encourage students to join these events. The highlight event for this week is actually the Yuma Transfer and Career Expo. And that one is October 20th on Monday. And that day is also registration day. So it opens up on October 20th. So we hope that a lot of students are here on campus, can stop by at the 3C Breezeway right next to Starbucks. Everybody knows where Starbucks is.
Yes.
It'll be, the hangout. You will see the attention there. Like it'll be many employers will be there. So
oh my gosh,
there's
going to be no parking spots, Johnny.
Yes, it's going to be a lot.
Like so, yesterday,
prepare for that.
Like, what is happening yesterday? I was like, what is going on here?
The fair.
So is that what you're most excited for?
I'm excited. That's the kickoff event. I'm excited for all of the events, but that day is just so many different entities, agencies that have either employee opportunities, or they could also have internships and share information on what's required. What do you need to have these certain jobs for these entities? And then we also will have 10 participating universities. And so it's a great time to connect, to learn about what careers are available here in Yuma. And also we have like external, like out of town entities, but also just know what's out there. Talk to the university representatives themselves for those connections and resources. And then for the following days, we will have other events. So we're excited.
We got a flyer here. I'll post it later. Brian, you're a numbers guy. Are you most excited for the financial literacy workshop?
Yes, they actually had they had a business workshop just a couple of weeks ago where I specifically got to individually speak with all the representatives at NAU, ASU, U of A, They're all very knowledgeable, and they're all excited to see all the incoming students on the 21st. If you're actually interested in meeting with any of them, we are going to have an admissions workshop as well. So if you need help applying, or if you have just general questions, that is going to be at the Transfer Center as well by Starbucks.
Wow, free help, you guys.
Yes.
Like, go get it.
Take advantage.
This is amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, it sounds like some great events. I'm looking at the flyer, lots going on. And like you said, it starts October 20th. That's going to be right over there in the breezeway from 10 to 1 p.m., correct?
That's correct, from 10 to 1.
All right. Well, anything else you want to plug before we go? We're
Do
running
people
out of
have
time.
to register? They just show up?
It's just showing up.
Oh, cool.
If you do want to sign up for the university admission application workshops, we will have Arizona State University, Northern Arizona University, University of Arizona. They will have different segments. You can sign up for those to better assist you as far as representatives being able to look into any specific questions, or if you already submitted an application and need additional support.
Yep.
If you go to the events page online, you can search for this event and you can register if you'd like, but you do not have to register. You can just show up. And then we will be having the University Transfer Fair at the San Luis Learning Center. So students who are over at the San Luis area, they don't have to come all the way to the campus to talk to the representatives. They will be there. We will have the 3 in-state universities, GCU, and other universities that will be there to share, again, information, pathways, resources, and just a lot of great information. And then we will end, Thursday, we will have the financial literacy and transfer scholarship workshop. Students can learn about specific transfer scholarships and also just walk-in services that day. And then we will finalize with the highlights. Students still have time to submit their highlights, their picture, and information about themselves, so we can add you to our social media pages.
Nice.
All right. And if somebody wants to know more, is this on the website at all?
Yes. So this is on the website. Although the whole week is there, and then each individual event is also highlighted separately. So students can click on it, and then they will be able to see that at the AWC online events calendar. They can just do a general search, or they could just click on transfer, and then they will be getting all the transfer relevant.
Or go visit Brian at the counter.
Yes.
At the transfer center.
Yes, I was going to say, if you have any questions about the Transfer Center event, or you just need help in general about AWC, always feel free to come to the Transfer Center. We're a great starting point.
You guys are so sweet.
Perfect. Thank you guys for being here, and thank you for all that you do for the students here at AWC. And with that, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back with our own Victor. How do you say his last name? Calderón. Did we do it right? He gave a thumbs up. Yeah, he'll be here from our sister station, KAWC. And with that, you're listening to What's Up Yuma Radio right here on 94.7 KOFA Border Radio.
What's Up Yuma is sponsored by Sunrise Cleaning, serving the Yuma area's residential and commercial cleaning needs. Sunrise exclusively uses eco-friendly cleaning products and provides specialty services such as solar panel, carpet, and RV cleaning. More information and appointment booking at sunrisecleaningaz.com.
Hi, I'm Pat Mitchell-Worley, and this week on Beale Street Caravan, we'll have multi-instrumentalist Paul Taylor in Three Springs, live on Beale Street Caravan.
This evening at 7 p.m. on KOFA Border Radio 94.7 FM.
For KAWC News, I'm Cisco Stargazer, Education Solutions Reporter. This Friday, Arizona Western College is hosting the Southwest Arizona Town Hall for a discussion on preparing the workforce today for careers of tomorrow. State and local leaders will talk about career development and the role of education in expanding Arizona's workforce and growing its economy. For Friday's event, we'll hear from several folks. The keynote speakers include Joe O'Reilly, Director of the Decision Center for Educational Excellence, and Amanda Burke, Executive Vice President of the Center for the Future of Arizona. A panel discussion will also include AWC President Dr. Daniel Kaur and Dr. Ritika Dewan, CEO of AWC's Entrepreneurial College and Vice President of Workforce and Healthcare Programs. Tim Brienza, Superintendent of the Yuma Union High School District, and Tom Tyree, Superintendent of the Southwest Technical Education District of Yuma, will be joining the panel too. For KAWC News, I'm Cisco Stargazer.
What's Up Yuma is sponsored by Yuma and Imperial Valley Wealth Management, offering retirement planning, investment consulting, and money management aligned with the goals of each client. Appointments and information are at yivwm.com. Investment advisory services offered through CWM LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.
Next time on the Retro Cocktail Hour, we'll hear tunes by Henry Mancini and Xavier Cugat. Plus, there's something new by the Waitiki 7. I'm Darrell Brogdon. Join me where the music is always shaken, not stirred. The Retro Cocktail Hour.
Saturday evening from 7 to 9 on Border Radio KOFA.
What's up, Yuma? Welcome back to What's Up, Yuma Radio. We are here now joined by Victor Calderón. Did I do it right, Victor?
That's
Calderón?
fine. You know,
That's fine.
Either way.
Either way.
I like to say
I think that means no.
I mean, I like to say Calderón when I'm on air, but I also, you know, people say Calderón.
Calderón. Yeah,
Calderón.
okay.
That's easier for some folks.
That's probably the way I'd say
for
it.
the gringos, as you say.
It's all good. It's all good.
And you're right next door to us over at KAWC.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So what would you say you do here?
So
now, did you get the reference?
No.
Jeez. Oh my God.
I think in
The Office?
next...
Is that from The Office?
Office Space.
No,
Office Space.
Okay.
Office Space. Have you seen Office Space?
I have seen Office Space. It's been a while.
Okay, so that's about like 5 people that haven't got it, but we will get somebody.
yeah, somebody's
that gets
gonna get it.
No,
Somebody's
we will find somebody.
Yeah, it's when they were going in and firing everybody, and everybody had to fight for their jobs. They were like, "Well,
yeah,
what would you say you do here?" And they have to say, like, "Well,
all the things." Yeah.
Anyway, but no, obviously news, and you cover South County here. I know a little bit about you.
Yes. Yeah. So I am a reporter here at KAWC, and like you said, you know, I cover South County, so Somerton, San Luis.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, now we have 3 reporters, but before we only had 2, and Cisco covers education exclusively.
Okay.
So I covered everything else. And so that's everything from like border to like ag.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
If there's something going on with city council, I'll, you know, cover that. We talk to elected officials, we talk to regular people, all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm. So what originally brought you to Yuma, and where are you from?
So I am from West Sacramento, California. And I grew up there. Then I went to college in DC, in Washington, DC at Georgetown.
Oh, wow.
That's really neat.
Yes.
So that's a trek.
What was it like living there?
I had to get adjusted to living on the East Coast. I had to buy like a whole new wardrobe. I had to buy like a heavy coat for when it snowed.
We're real laid back here.
Yes.
In Arizona.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I had to buy more pants.
Yeah.
You know, when being out there, but that was a cool experience. And then I came back.
What took you there though? Like what were you studying and why there?
Yeah. So I was in high school, I was really into like government. And so I thought I might do something with government. So I figured why not go to Washington, DC?
So let's say, okay, let's dive deeper, a little bit deeper. What in government? You wanted to be a politician? You wanted to be
I don't know if I wanted to be
scenes?
a politician, but like I really liked, you know, U.S. history and government. And I, you know,
were you on student council?
I was not on student council, but I figured, you know, DC's where it's, you know, the action is. So I thought, you know, maybe I'll get an intern working for a senator or
gotcha.
So member of Congress or something.
Okay. Yeah.
I didn't go that direction. I went into journalism. And so I did internships in that. But
so your love for history, civics, stuff like that took you over there now. And you said where the action is. Was there action there?
So I was there from like 2000 to 2004. So that was like, I think the first Bush presidency. And so it was just, you know, it was what it is, you know, and part of the cool thing is actually, I think, got to cover, if I remember back, it was a while ago, but in a government class, I got to cover political campaigns. And so we got to talk to someone from the Bush campaign, I think John Kerry, the John Kerry campaign. So that was like an introduction to, that was interesting to me as a journalist.
Okay,
future journalist
for
you know.
future. So at that point, you're not a journalist.
No,
you're still in the kind of the civics role, trying to figure out where you're going to go.
Right.
But then you take part in this. Did this trigger the part that I want to be a journalist now because I got to know some stuff? Or
yeah, I mean, I wrote for my school newspaper at Georgetown, and I had done that in high school and even before then when I was in Middle school, I wrote for a little school newspaper in West Sacramento, California.
Oh, so it's kind of always been there.
Yeah.
There's been that theme, that thread throughout your life.
And I was good at writing. When I was younger, it was creative writing, but then I got into like journalism style and how you report on the news and cover people. So, and then, like I said, I when I was in DC, I worked for, had an internship at the Hispanic Link News Service, which is a national publication. And so just that and working for my school newspaper, I got the bug or whatever to go into journalism.
Gotcha. So you're there. Did you like switch what your major is going to be, or like how did that happen?
Well, my major was always English writing.
Okay.
I started with that, but then I minored in government.
Okay.
And so, I thought I might, like I said, go into that, but I found that I like journalism more than the politics side.
Oh, nice. So did you graduate?
I graduated, from there. And then I came back to the West Coast, and my first newspaper job was in Monterey, California. And then my first full-time job in newspapers was in Salinas, California. So
what was the newspaper?
The Salinas Californian newspaper, very original, right? But like I like to tell people that I started in Salinas. My first full-time job was in Salinas. Now I'm in Yuma. They're both ag communities, but I've never worked in ag.
Yeah.
So I can read a crop report and I can tell
you, I have no clue.
Yeah. Just, what are, the popular crops for that area and for that year. And, and these days, obviously the issues in ag are more different. Are they going to have enough workers? That kind of thing.
So what was a typical, something that you would write in Salinas?
So when you're starting out, that was my first full-time job. So you're kind of general assignment. So I did everything from cold calling the cops to being like, hey, can you tell me about your recent arrests or, what's going on?
Would they share?
Yeah.
I got a good one for you.
They knew if the newspaper was calling, they would say, and then they would give me press releases, or they would say, here's what we've got going on. And so you got to kind of start from the bottom, right? To get to, a more advanced place in your career.
Sure.
And so I did like the cop beat, I covered general assignments. So, things like, grand openings and, just anything you can think of in a small community newspaper like here is what I covered starting out. But I got to do some cool, features. I worked with a more senior reporter soon after I got to Monterey. And it was like a feature on Native community. So these were like farm workers, but they didn't necessarily speak Spanish. They spoke like indigenous Mexican languages.
Whoa.
Yeah. So that was like an added challenge for them. But that was like really cool for me as like a young reporter to get to cover that and cover a part of the community that not everyone knew about.
Exactly. Wow.
And did you like that? Like the less heard aspect of it, something that's kind of people don't know, or maybe somebody that doesn't get as much shine?
Yeah.
Was that attractive to you?
I still like that. I still like to meet new people when I'm out doing a story. I talk to the elected officials. I talk to political candidates. I talk to, people in city government, but I like to meet new people, and some of those, new people I meet are in city government, but, I like to talk to regular people.
Yeah.
And so that's something that I've always had in my journalism career is I like to meet new people. I like to share their stories. And now on the radio, I like to share their voices so that you hear what our community sounds like.
That's right. So how long were you on the West Coast then? Before you came here to Yuma?
I've always been in the West since I came back from college. So I bounced around. So I went from Monterey to Salinas. That's the same county. But then I went to Reno, Nevada.
Oh, okay.
And had to break out my sno clothes again because it snows in Reno.
Oh, wow.
I did not know.
Yeah, Northern Nevada. It's like Vegas, but with more snow.
Oh, wow. I had no idea.
Yeah. And then so after I left Reno, I moved back home to Sacramento area and worked for an online publication called Patch.
Okay.
Which was then owned by AOL.
Oh my gosh,
so,
AOL.
AOL, remember that? The internet, the dial-up internet.
I think dial-up just went away like about a couple weeks ago.
Just recently.
Yeah, it was like 2 weeks ago at the end of dial-up. And some people needed it.
That's how I started.
Certain locations, but so AOL, you worked for Patch.
And that was in the community. So I got to cover the community where I went to high school. So that was pretty cool. I got to cover my high school and the greater community as well around that. And then I met my wife in Sacramento, my future wife, my wife.
Yeah.
Okay. You met your future wife.
And
Yeah.
And then so she's from Somerton, Araceli Rodriguez. And so she went to law school at University of Arizona. And I followed her. And so I've been in Arizona ever since 2012.
Okay, so
Wow.
2012, you moved here to Yuma or Somerton?
So 2012, we went to Tucson to U of A
okay.
because she was
Okay.
in law school, and
Gotcha.
then she was there 3 years, and then I moved out here to Yuma in 2016.
So is she a lawyer?
She is a lawyer.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What does she practice?
So her specialty is in wills, estates, and trusts.
Oh, okay.
So when folks typically, when they're looking to make plans for their properties,
Mhm.
or if it's like a family where unfortunately siblings may be fighting over property,
Yeah, totally.
when one or both of their parents pass,
Mhm.
and they have to deal with who's going to own
Who gets
our
what.
parents'
Yep.
property and that kind of thing. So that's what her focus is now. But she's also worked in since she's been in Yuma, water law.
Oh.
So she got to cover like a little bit of the Colorado River
Mhm.
negotiations,
Which is huge here, right? I
and
think
it's still going on.
Yeah,
Wow.
like the city council just said we're not giving our water to Queen Creek, right?
Queen Creek, yes.
Yeah, which why move where there's no water, guys? Just go and figure out something
Yeah.
else. Don't take our water.
Don't- we
At least
need-
that's how I
we
feel.
need the water.
We need the
Like,
water.
we need it.
So did she work on stuff like that?
She used to work on water law, but now she's
just-
into like
just the
wills,
wills,
estates, and
gotcha.
trusts. But
Okay.
Smarty pants.
yes,
Cool.
Good
And
for her.
we're going to take a quick break and we're going to find out how you ended up here.
okay.
All right. We're going to do that
Mhm.
after a quick break. You're listening to What's Up Yuma Radio right here on 94.7 KOFA Border Radio.
The Arizona Western College String Ensemble will present a student chamber music concert at St. Paul's Episcopal Church on 16th Street at 5 in the evening on October 30th. The group will feature works that celebrate the versatility of strings, traversing the familiar and the unexpected. More information is available under events at azwestern.edu.
Be sure to tune in next time to Beale Street Caravan. We'll have the band Those Pretty Wrongs, featuring Jody Stevens of Big Star. Also joining us will be Grammy-nominated bluesman Guy Davis as he continues his series on the Blues Hall of Fame. That's all coming up next time on Beale Street Caravan.
Thursday evening at 7 on KOFA Border Radio 94.7 FM. Deep subtropical moisture is moving into the area, so we remain under flood watch from 12 noon through Saturday evening. In Yuma, there's a slight chance of rain today with a high of 94 degrees, cloudy in the evening with a low of 80. Kingman has a 60% chance of precipitation with a high of 85 and a low of 64. In Prescott, the high is 73 degrees and the low this evening is 57. Flagstaff's climbing to an early high of 66, then dropping to 57. In the evening, the low is 51.
The Arizona Western College Parker Learning Center will host the Parker Community Expo from 1 to 4 p.m. on November 5th. The expo will provide career information, local resources, transfer options, and employment opportunities for students and the public in and around La Paz County. Details under events at azwestern.edu.
What's up, Yuma? Welcome back to What's Up Yuma Radio. We are here now joined by our very own Victor Calderón. And I'm going to say it that way. I'm
great.
going to do it. I'm proud of
Rolled
myself.
the R. It was
I kind of did it. So we dove into your past, and then now we're going to find out how you ended up here at KAWC, which is right next to KOFA.
Yeah. So filling in my biography. So after I, worked in Sacramento where I grew up, I moved to Arizona. And so I found a journalism job in Tucson, working for the Catholic Diocese of Tucson.
Wow.
And for anyone that doesn't know, the Catholic Diocese of Tucson includes Yuma and La Paz County, which is our listener area for KAWC and for KOFA Border Radio. But so I was already, through that job, I became more familiar with this area because the Bishop, Gerald Kikanis, would come out to Yuma every few months for services, meeting with folks here. And so 2016, I moved out here. I had a couple of jobs bounced around, no journalism jobs because at that time, neither the Yuma Sun wasn't hiring because I had a newspaper background. And I didn't have any experience in TV, so I couldn't go into TV. So after I bounced around a couple of jobs here in town, I
my wife found the job posting for KAWC for a reporter.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
And I didn't have any background in radio, but I, strong journalism background, and I met with Lou and folks here, and it just seemed like a good fit. So I've been here since 2018.
2018. Okay.
Yeah.
You got here because your wife saw it and she's like, go get a real job.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I did do one
She
year.
didn't have to say it like that. I'm just,
I did 1 year of teaching at San Luis High School, teaching freshman English.
Oh, okay.
How was that?
That was a challenge because, it was
too.
freshman English. And so they think they're hot stuff. Some of them, there are great kids in our school systems.
I loved English. That was always my thing. I would have been a good student.
Yeah. And so for me, like, that was something I tried and I found it wasn't for me. And that was also the year that we had the Red for Ed when teachers were going on strike for more, higher pay.
Wow.
And so that was a challenging year. But for that and for other reasons, I decided, that wasn't what, my career path was going to be. But so I found the journalism job and it's worked out.
Awesome.
All right. So you met with Lou, you got over here, and did you like it? Did you like going on radio? Was that a big change for you? Because you said that wasn't in your history. So
So obviously, I can write an article really well, and I can still do that for our online, component for KWC.org. But just learning how to write a story for radio.
Yeah.
How to, find that audio when you're out at a, story. It's one thing to interview someone, but then, if you're doing a story about construction, you're going to get the bulldozer sound or, sometimes when we're out, getting audio, we have our microphones and we're like holding it up and we look weird to maybe some people because we're trying to get sound of like, a machine or, something going on, or if there's, kids or whatever, we hold our mic out. But, and then of course, reading on air, presenting on air, sounding not nervous or, sounding like what you're talking about.
Confident.
For air, because it's one thing to like write a story and it comes out in a paper or online.
That's right.
It's another thing to like have to read it on air.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's something that both Cisco and I have had to work on because we both come from newspaper backgrounds.
Yeah. So kind of like not sound like a robot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And also to like have the radio voice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I've worked on that. And now people, when I go out, they might not know my face, but and they talk, they say, where have we met before? And I'll say, I'll say the line, I'll say, for KAWC, this is Victor Calderón. And they're like, oh, yeah, that's you.
Yeah,
that happened to me the other day. I was taking my son's friend home from football practice. And I was talking to my son and he's like, are you on the radio from the back seat? I was like, this is like 16-year-old kid listening to What's Up Yuma Radio. Turns out it's Romeo's little brother.
Oh,
we interviewed Romeo the boxer.
Yeah, the boxer.
He's all, you sound familiar. But yeah, that's awesome.
So people recognize our voice. And then
so did Lou give you some pointers at those early days?
So Lou's been doing this, for several years and here and in Flagstaff. And so, he does a good job of helping, people feel, find their voice and, feel more confident sound more confident on air.
What was your first story? Do you remember?
I don't remember. It was probably, again, like a general assignment thing where it was like, all right, because when, someone starts out and this week we have a new reporter, Alexandra Rangel.
Yeah.
And so it's like, writing a script and then, okay, let's see how you basically like for like Lou or the editor or whoever to like know like what our strengths are, like to see how we write a script and then, he's going to, interject and put in his 2 cents or if it's Dave editing the story. And then of course, like, how do you sound on air? Like we don't go on air right away. Like Lou says, you have to kind of graduate to be on air.
Wow, I was just thrown in. Johnny's like, here's a mic.
There's no graduation for Ronnie.
I just jumped right in.
Yeah.
So
you've done great.
Thank you so
Both
much.
of you. Both
yes,
of you.
this is super fun. I love your show. What is your favorite type of story? Do you have one?
Again, just like if I'm profiling someone that I don't know and it's just like a regular person, or I'll give you an example of a couple of stories I've done that are fun because it's journalism, but it's also like there's good sound in there as well. So one of the first stories I did was 2018, the World Cup was going on, and I'm a big sports guy. So I went to one of the local sports bars, 85350 in Somerton, and got to cover like a game watch. And it was like Mexico. Wow. I don't know who they were playing, but obviously, whether you're Mexican American or Mexican, you follow the soccer team. And so that was cool to sort of, get that, experience and people cheering when there's a goal and, and they win.
Yeah. That what you're describing, NPR has a very unique sound and a very distinct sound. So did you learn that right away as well? Kind of because like I'm picturing it and I'm hearing it in my
Yeah.
head as you say it,
Right.
like they do, right? Because they would do, like you said, get sound
Yeah.
from the
Right.
room and kind of add into the story, and it kind of brings the story to life.
Yes.
It gives it this whole
Very much
texture
so.
to it.
Yeah. So, you gather your elements when you're out on a story, you do your interviews, you get nat sound or you get ambient sound, we call it. And that's, like for that, it was, people cheering.
Mm-hmm.
We've also won some awards here. I want to mention that we've won
You
some
did?
awards.
I seen
Oh
that.
my gosh.
So
what
they're
are
on
they?
our wall as you walk toward our newsroom from the Public Media Journalists Association, PMJA. And it's for reporting that we've done, myself, Lou, and people that have worked in our newsroom before. But the one story I got a first place for a story I did, Regional Center for Border Health, back when there were a lot of migrants coming through. When Border Patrol would release migrants after they processed them, they would go to Regional Center for Border Health for health services. And then that agency would also help them get travel plans.
Wow.
The migrants or their families would pay for their flights to parts of, whatever part of the U.S. their family was. And then RCBH would have buses, and they would bus them to Phoenix from Yuma, from Somerton, to Phoenix. And then they would, go where they were going to meet their family. But I was able to be there for one day and sort of track them from when they came in.
Wow.
Went through the process of getting screened and all that. But yeah, that was, personally, that was, a good story for me.
And then that's the one you got the award for.
I got
Very
recognized,
cool.
but it was also just telling the story because you hear about the immigration debate,
Yeah.
you hear from the politicians, you hear
Sure.
from locals, but we don't hear as much from like people that are going through it, migrants.
Yeah.
Now the border's quiet, so we don't hear from that. But yeah, that was, a good story. And again, going back to what I say about giving voices that we don't always hear.
And you
Sharing
cover South County. Do you ever do any investigative stuff, or is that just?
Do you
have any insiders?
Well,
we do. I'm not gonna, we're working on some
they're
stuff.
called sources.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I just know a lot of news is pretty much. There's not investigative side to news much anymore.
I mean, we have the liberty of taking time on a story. We do our daily reporting. We update our website. But we do have time to, look into stories. And so looking into our local agencies, our local elected officials, if we get a news tip, and that I want to tell anyone listening to this, if you have a story, whether it's investigative or not, email news@kawc.org.
Yeah. And I didn't even, and we were talking yesterday, and I didn't even think about it, but I was sitting in the sauna last week. And then the guy goes up, did you hear that the vice mayor of San Luis got arrested?
Yes.
It's like, I should have gave you that as a tip.
Yeah,
Then I should have called you right away, because that didn't come out for another 4 days.
He was on the run.
Yeah. It did,
Yeah.
but
It happened over the weekend. And yeah, I mean, we, like you, I saw something on Facebook, and then you have to confirm it with the, sheriff's department or sheriff, Yuma County Sheriff's Office. And yeah, that's a story where it's ongoing, and we don't know. The mayor put out a statement that, the city's going to, go on as, normal, that the city doesn't have much information other than what's been released. But yeah, something like that we'll follow up on and we'll let people know about. And yeah, so again, if people give us, news story ideas, we'll follow as much as we can.
Yeah.
All right.
We won't ask you to disclose your sources. I
Yes.
won't ask. But
Yeah.
I like this question that Johnny put. If you could give your younger journalist self-advice, what would it be?
Just, be open to, new opportunities, right? For me, it was, I had a strong career in print journalism and newspapers, and I love that. But then my wife listened to KAWC before I did.
Oh, cool.
I'll say that, it's not a secret, but she listened to KAWC before I did. And so she would listen to it on the car on her drive to work. And she said, yeah, you should apply for them. And I did, and it worked out. And hopefully people enjoy our reporting. And I think they do. When we do get feedback from people, and that's another thing, we want to get feedback. So you can also email news@kawc.org. Tell us how we're doing.
Yeah.
Tell us what we're doing
What do you
well.
want to hear?
What do you want to hear more of? And so, because we are, want to do what our listeners want to hear, and we want to make it interesting for our listeners.
Yeah,
So-
definitely. And it's informative, and it's
Yes.
not like one or side of the other. It's just very if you want the news, knowing what's going on, you're just going to get that without a lot of the fluff or whatever. So I definitely appreciate that. Anything coming up in the future? We got about 30 seconds.
Yeah. So every Saturday we put out our show, Arizona edition. So listen to it. It's on 88.9 FM. It's on our website, KAWC.org.
And yeah, we'll have, more voices, more local voices.
Yay.
Well, cool.
Thank
I
you
hope
so
people
much.
listening will reach out, give you some tips, and
you
find
get more
something juicy.
sources, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that story with the vice mayor. But anyway, so What's Up Yuma Radio is a production of KAWC, Colorado Public Media. We broadcast from the studios in the Matador Activity Center at Arizona Western College in Yuma. We want to thank our engineer, Talon Gonzalez, along with Anthony Ornelas, Juan Garcia, Cecilia, and Dave Reek.
And you can find out more about KAWC at kawc.org, on Facebook at KAWC Radio, and on the KAWC app. And stay tuned following our program for KOFA Midday Music.
And on tomorrow's program, we are going to have, I know Christian Shepard, and I can't read my handwriting now.
Oh, no.
Steve Navarro.
Yeah, Steve Navarro.
He's a local children's author.
Yes, and Kristen Shepard. Okay, and you can listen to the podcast version of our program at kawc.org/podcast/What's Up Yuma Radio, and email us at whatsupyumaradio@gmail.com.
Do you know Steve?
I do.
Yeah,
we're
tomorrow.
both San Francisco 49ers fans.
And I was just going to say that because I think I've seen that you post that on your Facebook.
Yes,
so
yes.
cool.
Awesome.
Stick around for tomorrow then.
Yes.
And the rest of you, we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
What's Up Yuma with Johnny Porter is sponsored by Yuma and Imperial Valley Wealth Management, offering solutions for those who value financial planning. YIVWM.com.
Broadcasting from Yuma campus of Arizona Western College for more than 55 years, this is Border Radio, 94.7 FM, KOFA Yuma. We also broadcast at 1320 AM in Yuma, at kawc.org, and on the KOFA app.
Ever wanted to be on the radio? Still talking into your hairbrush in the mirror? Border Radio needs you as a volunteer host. Share music, stories, and local conversations that matter. No experience necessary. We'll provide the training. Email info@borderradioaz.org or call 877-838-5292 for more information.
BBC News with Sue.